Hello everyone and welcome back to the fourth episode of the Figma Best Practices series.
On the last episode, we saw how we can create our first form, such as a login page, using components that we have built before. On this episode, we're going to see how we can create a card such as this one on Instagram, which is basically a pattern component that consists of various atomic components such as a profile picture, a profile name, a more icon, or other icons such as like, comment, and share, as well as a picture frame. So let's go ahead and create our pattern component that consists of various different smaller atomic components. So the way I would suggest you to start is to go on your Instagram and find that card that you want, and then of course screenshot it and paste that screenshot inside your design file for inspiration. Once I have that inspiration in my file, I perhaps want to scale this screenshot down so I can go ahead and see here that it's 630 pixels wide. So what I want to do is go on the frame, make sure I know what I'm doing. So I can see a iPhone 14 is 390 pixels wide in this case. So I'm going to again select this screenshot and do 390, perfect. Then I want to start from top to bottom just because it might make sense as a natural order. So I'm going ahead and start with the frame for the profile picture. So let's go and add a frame. Next thing I want to do is make sure I give it the right kind of size. So let's go with 48 in this case. Make sure you have this clicked to constrain the proportions. And then let's add some 100 pixels just to make it round. And then of course, auto layout in this case should not really matter. I'm going to show you exactly why. So I'm going to go ahead and select the profile picture that I'm going to add inside. In this case, I'm just going to select a random one, copy it on my clipboard and paste it inside. Then just scale it down to the frame. There we go. So we have the picture. So you can see that it doesn't really matter because I can just move it everywhere I want. I want to make this as a component, so I can create this component. Let's name this profile picture and then make sure it's for the card, because I might make another profile picture component for a different use case. Then next thing I want to do is have the profile name. So let's go ahead and create our profile name. Let's add a text, say profile name. In this case, I want to make sure that I have the right type of text styling, in which case I don't at the minute. 16 might be okay, but I know the button is a normal weight. What I want in this case is 16, yes, but semi-bold. So I'm going to detach the style and create semi-bold. And then I want to save this, of course. So I'm going to create a new style for H2. So I've created the style, I've created the component. So I want to create the component and make sure this is again for the card. So I want to leave this here. Then what I want to do is start creating the pattern. So I can see here I have the icons that I want, so I might have more, I might have the rest of the icons. So what I want to do next is create an atomic component for the picture frame. So let's go ahead and add the frame, and then of course make sure I have the size. In this case, I might not necessarily make an Instagram type of frame. I'm just going to make a square kind of frame. So let's go with 390 pixels wide and high. So that's it. Then what I want to do as an example, copy a random picture that I have perhaps taken this morning, paste it inside, scale it down. It doesn't really matter what you put inside, it's just to show the example of the picture frame. So I've created it, and then I want to create this as a component and then name this as picture frame. Make sure it is for the card. Done. So it's all done. And now what I want to do is create the pattern. I can see here that it's more or less like this. So these are on the top, these are on the bottom, and there is a bit of a margin on the side, so a bit of padding. So let's go ahead and drag and drop those components I just created. So the profile picture, the profile name component. So let's put them together side by side. Then let's group them, add some auto layout, make sure they are aligned to the right place. Then add some spacing between them. Then I want to go ahead and search for my more icon. So there we go, I have the icon more. So what I want to do is make sure, again, the colors are right. So I want to make them brandless for now. So let's just make this black. Then make sure this color is right. These colors are all right. So select the two, select the icon and the frame that I just created. Group them, add some auto layout. Then what I want to make sure is to have them spaced in between to make sure that they both stay on their own side. So the frame, the group that I created and the icon stay on the two sides with the padding, in which case I'm going to do 16. Perfect. Then I know the width that I'm going for is 390, so I can already go ahead and do that. 390. Then what I want to do is get my picture frame and add it underneath. There we go, we have the picture frame. Then we want to make another pattern with the rest of the icons. So we want perhaps a like, a comment, and a share icon. So let's go ahead with our like button, which might be a thumbs up. Then we want a comment icon. There we go, comment. And then we want a share icon. You don't have to worry if it's the exact same icon as Instagram because you're making your own design, in which case my icons are just a simple Google material icons, and I want to make sure they're brandless. Add some auto layout, make sure they're all aligned perfectly, and then again go for the 16 that I went for before. Then you can, in this case, decide whether or not you want these dots to show that there is more images, in which case what you can do is create a new component as I have shown you on the episode number 1 and add this component inside. I don't want to necessarily do it right now because I don't want to have to bother with the details. I can always come back to this later. So what I can do is add perhaps a save icon to save this picture, just as an example. So let's go with save. Let's just add this here. Again, I don't necessarily need to worry about having the exact icon because I can always come back to this later. Then again, as I have grouped them, I want to make sure that they're centered, aligned to the center, and then also space between. Then 16 pixel padding, and then I also know the width, so I'm going to go ahead and add it already. So add them underneath. I want to make sure again that everything I'm using is brandless, so change the color to black. There we go, they're all done. Then I can see as an inspiration on Instagram there is the likes underneath. So what I want to do is add another text to say, for example, I don't know, 100 likes. There we go. H2 should do it for now. I don't need to worry about it again. So H2 should be good. Add it under, and then let's add the profile name, in which case we already have it. So we want to go with profile name. And then what we want to do next is add some body text. So I want to add the body text, in which case I don't want the body name to necessarily stay fixed. So I can just undo this. And then what I can do is keep it as that. And then I want to give some space here. So add some example text description, hashtag post. Then I want to make sure that this text doesn't stand out together with the profile name. So let's go ahead and change it back to body text. Perfect. And that's it. So now what I want to do is select all of them, group them, add some auto layout, and then I want to make sure that all the spacing is right. So let's go with 24 to begin with, in which case I want to make sure that I'm giving the right type of hierarchy in most places. So what I want to do is keep this a little bit closer to the image. So I want to group the two and then reduce the spacing. Then I also want to reduce the spacing between these two, so I'm going to group them and then reduce the spacing. And that's it. So what I can do now is just select this again and create a component. So we have created a component and named this as a card / post. If you want to name this, you can always decide for your own what you are naming those components for your own safety to be able to search through your library. So you can see we have created a component pattern that consists of smaller components, in which case my card component here consists of this component, it consists of this component, my icon components I've created before. So yeah, this is it for today.
Once again, if you feel like you're enjoying my content, please make sure to subscribe. And if you feel like this is useful content for your colleagues and your team generally to learn about Figma best practices, just feel free to share it with them. And see you in the next episode. Bye.